In a couple of minutes on BBC1, a love letter to Jack Benny, a tribute to the American comedian composed by, among many others, George Burns, Bob Hope and Johnny Carson. First, the news headlines from Ian Webster.
The polls closed in the Crosby by-election just under an hour and a half ago. The turnout was high, 69%. The result won't be known for an hour or so, but all the signs are that Shirley Williams will win for the Social Democrats, and with a large majority. Over now to David Davis at the count.
Well, the count is well underway in a constituency that's been solidly Conservative for 63 years, and yet where the unthinkable only a few months ago may be about to happen. The 80 ballot boxes have been brought here to a school hall in Crosby from 40 polling stations scattered around a relatively large constituency. The opinion polls, yes, have been forecasting a famous victory for Mrs. Shirley Williams of the SDP Liberal Alliance. Most recently, one completed for the BBC2 programme Newsnight, which suggests a majority for Mrs. Williams of somewhere between 3,000 and 7,000. And joining me is one of the Conservative candidates' campaign aides, Mr. Malcolm Thornton, the MP for Liverpool Garston. Mr. Thornton, is it lost?
It looks as though we've lost it, yes.
And what's gone wrong?
I don't think anything's gone wrong, really.
Well, it must have gone wrong, surely. You have lost the 19,000 majority.
But we've seen the total collapse of the Labour vote, which has gone into the New Socialist Party, the usual mid-term disaffection with the government, and also we have seen this new phenomenon of something new, and therefore people are looking for a change.
Well, Mr. Thornton, we expect a result here at about 12:30. For now, back to Ian Webster in London.
Well, the declaration can be seen in Newsnight by-election special on BBC2. But in Lincoln tonight, the Labour Party has taken control of the City Council from the Conservatives. It's the first time they've held power since losing to Dick Duffern's Democratic Labour Party 7 years ago. Mrs. Thatcher met her cabinet today to approve the details of public spending for next year. It seems that ministers will be spending more than the Treasury wanted to allow. Details of cuts and spending will be given by the Chancellor on Wednesday. Our political editor says there will be a reduction in the amount of unemployment benefit, but student grants won't be hit as hard as was feared. Council house rents are likely to rise by about £2.50 and not £4 as was threatened. But prescription charges will probably go up by 15%, so will national insurance contributions. At the Common Market Summit in London, the heads of government are reported to have made some progress in drawing up proposals for reforming the EEC. However, a spokesman said tonight that problems remained. Mrs. Thatcher told the Common Market leaders that she wants to see signs of a solution to the budget and farm policy issues by the end of the year. An attempt to overthrow the government of the Seychelles has ended in failure. Many of the white mercenaries involved are now under arrest in South Africa. The left-wing government of President Albert Rene says it successfully fought off the attack by a group of about 100 men who flew in from Swaziland on a scheduled flight last night. About 40 of the mercenaries hijacked an Air India 707 to escape government forces. When it landed in Durban, the men on board were arrested. Israeli Foreign Minister Yitzhak Shamir is expected in Washington tonight. He's been summoned there by Secretary of State Alexander Haig after Israeli Prime Minister Mr. Begin said he would recommend rejection of European participation in the Sinai peacekeeping force. Meanwhile, Mr. Begin was admitted to hospital tonight after breaking his leg in a fall at his house. He's said to be resting comfortably. 150 firemen who fought a big plastics factory fire in Louth were given checks in hospital. 18 have been kept in for treatment after inhaling poisonous fumes. Many families living near the factory were evacuated from their homes to avoid the effects of toxic smoke. Well, that's the news tonight. Good night.
This is BBC1, where we're now showing an edited version of the tribute to the American comedian Jack Benny, which was first shown earlier this year.
And 1